Independent and dependent clauses. An independent clause is a sentence which can stand alone. Here are two independent sentences. They are also called independent clauses. The clown held a red balloon. This is neither a question nor specifically an answer. It could be an answer, but it doesn't have to be an answer. So it is an independent clause and an independent sentence. Independent clauses are always independent sentences. The children ran away is another independent clause and independent sentence because it can stand alone and it is not specifically an answer which requires a question. An independent clause is standalone and it does not require other sentences to be comprehensible. Using conjunctions, one can add independent clauses together. Independent sentence, the clown held a red balloon. This sentence here is an independent clause connected to another independent clause with a conjunction. Here are two more standalone independent clauses. Fatso ate a pie, Skinny ate an apple. Now watch, we can use a conjunction. But, or and. Fatso ate a pie, but Skinny ate an apple. Now that is a single standalone sentence made of two standalone sentences. These are like clauses, right? There are special words which you can add to an independent clause to make it dependent, such as because, so, then, and. Notice that these independent to dependent clause words are all conjunctions. You cannot start an independent sentence with and, because this word and implies that it is connected to another piece of information, so it is not independent. Same with then, so, and because. Let me give you an example. If we take out the because, and we just make this, the clown held a red balloon, that is a standalone sentence. But by putting the because, we have now made it dependent. Same with the so. Take away the so, and we have the children ran away, which is independent. Add the so, it can now not exist without another clause to complete it. And same with then. When the clown held a red balloon, okay, notice the when. The when is another dependent clause word, because if we just had the sentence, the clown held a red balloon, it is independent. It can stand alone. But when we add the when before it, suddenly that implies that there is another part, another clause which must be added to make this clause complete. Same with the because. Add the because to the children held a red balloon, and now it is not complete anymore. It requires the children ran away. Because the clown held a red balloon, the children ran away. Why? Because the clown held a red balloon. And same with so. If we get rid of the so, we just have the children ran away, which is independent clause, a sentence, an independent sentence. Or use another conjunction, and the children ran away. You cannot, of course, start a sentence with and the children ran away is not a standalone sentence. It has to have another clause before it. These two clauses are a complete sentence. Notice, however, that always one of the clauses is independent. The clown held the red balloon remains independent. So in any kind of sentence, there always has to be at least one independent clause. Here we go. Because they have funny faces. If it was just they have funny faces, that is a complete standalone sentence. If we start a sentence with because, we generally use a comma to separate one clause from another. In this case, separating the dependent clause, because they have funny faces, from the independent clause, they are clowns. They are clowns can stand alone. Now, if we make they are clowns dependent by adding a because, then we have to erase the because here to make the first clause independent. As I said before, any sentence must have at least one independent clause. Because they have funny faces, they are clowns. Now, notice this is written like a sentence. It's an answer to a question. Because he eats healthy. The man is old. Why? Because he eats healthy. However, even though it is written like a sentence, it is not independent, because if it was not for this question, then it wouldn't make any sense. You have to have the question in order for the answer to make sense. So whether or not there is punctuation here, and it looks like two sentences, really, this is dependent upon this. The question appears to be independent, because that could stand alone. You could just ask, why is the man old, and then not receive an answer. But if you were to start the answer with because, then that requires the question first. And who initiates the question? The independent sentence maker. Where, who, how, which, when, why. These are question clauses. Examples: where are you going? Who are you with? When will you go? How will you go? Why will you go? Now, how do we answer these independent questions, which are also clauses? The way to do this is just add ever. Let me show you. Where are you going? Wherever I want. Who are you with? Whoever I please. How will you go? However I want. When will you go? Whenever I want. Why will you go? We do not add an ever to why. We do not say why ever. Then we'll just say dunno, don't know. Now some more complex ones with the ever. Where is the train? Wherever there are stations. Who's the psycho? Whoever wears clown clothes and holds a red balloon. Which clowns like red balloons? Whichever clowns are scary. Now, whichever clowns are scary, it's not really a sentence. It's a dependent clause. It is not independent. This is not a sentence, whichever clowns are scary. It's like a standalone noun. So it's dependent. So here we have the noun. Subject, which is a noun. Whichever clowns like balloons. Whichever clowns are scary. That's a noun. Okay? Whichever clowns are scary like red balloons. Red balloons is the object. Whichever clowns are scary is the subject. Verb. Object, red balloons. Whichever clowns like red balloons as the noun clause. Don't get confused by the position of this verb. Whichever clowns like red balloons is not a sentence. It is not an independent clause. It is a dependent clause, and it functions as a noun. The verb here, which connects the subject, is are, and then scary. Scary is like an adjective. So we're using the verb are to attribute this adjective to the noun clause. Here we have a sentence, which is a question using a clause word, how, and we have an answer for the question which uses the clause word, when. One of these is independent and the other is dependent. Which one is independent? The question. Another similar example, we have the subject, which is a noun clause, the verb, and the object, which is a noun with an adjective, but nevertheless a noun. Again, here we have whoever likes eating pie. That is our noun clause and subject. And we're describing that person as a fatso using the verb is. We could have this sentence, the pig is a fatso. The pig is a noun. That is a subject. Whoever likes eating pie. That is also a subject. That is called a noun clause. Noun clauses are dependent. Without the ever, it is not used as a noun clause. These clause words, who, which, when, how, if you do not add the ever, it is not used as a noun clause. This is wrong. Who likes eating pie is not a noun clause because it becomes a question without that ever. The native speaker's ear will hear the beginning of this as a question. I hope you enjoyed my presentation on independent and dependent clauses. Subscribe and support the work that I am doing. Thank you.